fast to unite crazy lovers again. I met Peter at a dance in Christchurch. The first time I ever went out with him was on my 16th birthday, so we were relatively young. After the first time I went out with him, he would write to me at least once or twice a week, and I would usually write back once a week. So we always wrote to each other, even though we were only half an hour away from each other. But I think it was the fact that he was a journalist, that was his thing. He wrote letters and it just became our thing that we wrote to each other. Young love, I guess. And there was one day when I saw an advert for a journalist to go down to the Antarctic, and I think Peter had been playing rugby and had had another rugby injury, and I sort of said, that's a good place to go, you won't get injured if you go down there. Not imagining that he would think it was a good idea and apply and go away for what was intended to be 4 to 5 months. Then there was a problem with one of the guys that was down there wanted to come back to New Zealand, so they asked him to stay on for another 7 months. Well, I guess if there was something important, a telegram would arrive. So, for example, when he was going to stay on, he'd sent me a telegram, and then for my birthday I'd get a telegram, and then we started realising that we could actually be in more direct contact with the telegrams. Happy birthday, kid, wish could share it. Sorry, no tulips, but oceans of adoration instead. So he used to always bring me tulips on a Friday. So he was a bit of a romantic. Peter would write the telegram down, and the person that was down there that was looking after the Scott base, he would then type it in, and then they would ring you from the post office when it arrived in New Zealand, read it out to you. It wasn't particularly private, but to be private, they had to be written so that only we would understand what was being said. He would always make references to maybe a bit of Shakespeare or a poem he'd read or somewhere, and often I'd end up at the library trying to catch up with something, or look up a book and look up a reference and see what he was saying. Decode the letters, yeah. I received a telegram on the 8th of May 1970. Wanted nubile hurry for concatenation with promulgatory peripatetic for prolonged Catholic peregrination, requisitioning patriarchal approbation as repudiation. So I sat down with my dictionary and tried to work out what it actually said. So I deciphered it, and it said marriageable woman for linking together with communicating wanderer, and then thought at the end of it that it was a marriage proposal. I was sitting in my bedroom with a dictionary looking at, trying to figure out what on earth the words all meant. Very romantic, yeah. I wasn't quite sure, so I waited till the following day, and I was teaching out at Rangiora High School. And I went into the library and got out a French dictionary and replied to Peter in French saying, did he want a wife or someone to travel with? And I got another telegram back the following day saying that how stupid I was. Of course it was a marriage proposal, and what was my answer? We were together for over 50 years, and he passed away about 2.5 years ago. He'd often sign with the YELP, Y-E-L-P, which meant Your Ever-Loving Pete. If anyone ever says, oh, well, they didn't really get a proposal, I've said, I've got evidence that I had a proposal. So it's always been one of those jokes that we've had in the family, and so it's now being shared with lots of people.